Disney's woke agenda doesn't exist, so stop it.
This is my intro.
Hello, welcome to my channel. If you have not been here before, my name's Kiara, what's up? And I'm making this video and it's been like 10 years in the making. Also, if my audio sounds like not the best, it's because I don't have a mic and I'm filming off my phone. Until we finance that, camera it is. Phone camera it is. Alright, I wanted to start this video off with the fact that the term woke has been misconstrued and taken and twisted and led astray for the past 10 years. Woke actually was intended to be a warning or a wake-up call for Black Americans to stay alert on the goings-ons of things on the other side. In other words, with the dude bros, the white people, palm color people, vanilla people, whatever you want to call them, the oppressive systems. In other words, to not let them catch you slipping in a racial sense, as in to stay alert and to stay vigilant to acts of racism and discrimination. That is what woke was originally intended to be used as, not whatever it is today as a vague term of being like, oh, you're so DEI, oh, this is so PC, no, stop. Can y'all just come up with your own words for once, instead of taking our words and turning them into whatever you want them to be? But that's not why we're here today. Today we're here to talk about Disney and how their woke agenda doesn't exist simply because it just doesn't. This isn't going to be your average video. I'm not bashing Disney in this video. I love Disney. But just because you love something doesn't mean that you don't want them to improve and ultimately do better. Now, I have been investigating these issues since 2019, okay, y'all? I've been putting in the time. My undergrad thesis actually was around this entire topic, and it quickly melted and fried my brain. So, similar to me doing this video, why it's taking me so long, every time I try to sit down and write and do it, it's just gonna do this video and post it, and if you would believe it, this isn't the first time that I tried to film this video and post it, and just haven't done it, but this time I'm gonna do it. Now, originally, I was focused on the reaction to Halle Bailey's casting in the live-action The Little Mermaid. Also, I'm reading off my laptop, so if you see me looking down, that's why. I just don't want to mess up, so, I mean, it's fine. The backlash that followed and the racism she received and was subjected to, but this quickly ended up blossoming into a deeper analysis of Disney's family programming and the effects it could have on BIPOC children and their worldview. But that'll come later in this video. The Little Mermaid backlash. It enraged me. To see this, the entitlement that arose within the internet sphere almost immediately by the palm-colored people was appalling. And Disney was nowhere to be found. Where you at? Now, must I remind you of the Not My Ariel hashtag? And let me tell you why this was problematic. I don't know if y'all remember, but that hashtag was, again, like with the term woke, y'all people need to come up with your own terms. The Not My Ariel hashtag was devolved from the Not My President hashtag, which was used to rally against Donald Trump being president in his first term. The Not My President was us literally saying he is not our president. Most Black people and most people of color. It's a touchy subject right now. But to see this hashtag that was used to fight an oppressive figure, oppressive person, oppressive system, it's like y'all have lost the plot so hard. That's how insane it is to be like, why? Anyway, I have to move on. I don't know if y'all remember the race swap Disney princesses. Like, people were on there making art. If I can find any, I'll put it in. But people were on the internet making art of, oh, what if we took your princesses and made them white? Okay, do that. How many do we have? One? Oh, we have Tiana. You can change her and make her white and we'll take the rest. We're gonna beat you in spades, babes. Yes, please show me how few classic mainstream Black animated movies and shows there are for you to be able to race swap with. Like, be so for real, y'all. How many other Disney princesses do you have to choose from? Relax, Janet. The Little Mermaid being Black isn't going to be the end of all days. Too often I have had to see and hear this same story. An actor, usually Black, or a person of color or indigenous, under the Disney Family Company umbrella, a project they're doing is being subjected to vast amounts of racism by Disney's fan base and otherwise. Again, extending to like Lucasfilms, Marvel, etc. Again, we're going to get into that a little later. Receiving little to no protection from Disney against these attacks. Many workplaces have HR meant to protect you against harassment of all kinds, financial, emotional, sexual, workplace, period. Where is that for Disney? Are these actors not employed by you? Are these actors not meant to represent you in some way, shape, or form? After the announcement is made, you're expecting them to kind of embody that character, are you not? Especially a Disney princess. If Halle's seen out in public and a little girl runs up to her, you don't want her like buffing the, hey, listen, I'm off the clock right now, Sally. I can't take a picture with you. Like, no, you want her to be the Disney princess. You want her to represent the Disney company. She is on the clock for you, whether she's getting paid for it or not. So why aren't you protecting her outside of the parameters of the movie premiere, of the press tour? Not even really protecting her on the press tour, having to field faintly veiled questions about the backlash and the racism she's receiving. But again, I'm going to get into that a bit later. The main thing that I wanted to say in this section is, Disney, why are you not having parameters in place to protect your actors? You're forcing them to fend for themselves in a situation where anything they say to protect themselves or defend themselves will likely only be used against them and to make the situation worse. And this isn't the first time something like this has happened. This has happened time and time and time again. And the reason why it continues is because you haven't done anything to show that you are firmly against these actions and threats against your actors once casting them. It's not enough to just say, look, we're being diverse. We have a black person in Star Wars. Look, we have a black person that's going to be Ariel. Look, we have a Latina that's going to be Snow White. You have to do something to protect them. You understand that the industry is against them. You are part of the industry, and you're like throwing them to the wolves with this. It's actually insane to me. By doing nothing to protect these actors against these comments and toxic environments that are being formed in these internet spaces, Disney, you are standing with and condoning the racism being hurled at these actors. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back to where this all started. I use that term loosely. It didn't start in the 2010s, obviously. I'm just gonna use kind of a jumping point. So I entitled this section, Disney does not protect DEI, but left to die, because DEI, and then if you switch the die. Anyway, it was a pun. Okay, in this section, we're gonna talk about John Boyega, Halle Bailey, and Dominique Thorne. I'm not going to go too in depth on each of these situations. I just want to kind of give an overview of what was going on. If I went deep into each of these, this would be a much longer video than what it already is. Let's start with John Boyega and Star Wars. Star Wars ain't really my bailiwick. So, first of all, I've never seen a Star Wars movie. The first Star Wars movie I saw was The Force Awakens with my brother and my dad, because we wanted to go support. I do remember that they had him like potentially, like, I thought that he was going to be the love interest of Rey, and then if I'm remembering correctly, that like did not happen, or if it did, it was very brief. And of course it's like, oh, you can't let the black guy be with the white girl. I mean, metrics, again, Disney, you want the diversity, equity, and inclusion, but you don't fully commit to it. He suffered so much racism throughout the entirety of his casting, performance, throughout his partnership with Star Wars, Disney, and Lucasfilms. Here's a quote from him. I'm going to put them up on the screen, or I'm just going to have me, but I'm literally just going to be reading them from the screen. In a quote to British GQ, I am the only cast member whose experience of Star Wars was based on their race. It is so difficult to maneuver. You get yourself involved in projects and you're not necessarily going to like everything. But what I would say to Disney is, do not bring out a black character, market them to be much more important in the franchise than they are, and then have them pushed to the side. It is not good. I'll say it straight up. He goes on to say, like, you guys knew what to do with Daisy Ridley. You knew what to do with Adam Driver. You knew what to do with these other people. But when it came to Kelly Marie Tran, when it came to John Boyega, you know F all. So what do you want me to say? What they want you to say is, I enjoyed being a part of it. It was a great experience. No. I'll take that deal when it's a great experience. They gave all the nuance to Adam Driver, all the nuance to Daisy Ridley. Let's be honest. Daisy knows this. Adam knows this. Everybody knows. I'm not exposing anything. Boyega goes on to detail how he experienced racist backlash due to his casting in the franchise on social media, going so far as to respond by posting on IG, deleting it later, saying, get used to it, which, yeah, y'all gotta realize black people exist too, and not just in the roles that you think that we should be in. We don't just dissipate into thin air when you're finished seeing us. Like when you think our plotline is over, we don't just vanish. It's entirely exhausting to witness whiteness centered at every turn, in every project. Y'all really have it all and still grip the leftover spoils with the jaws of life, don't you? And the effects don't just stop here. John Boyega went on to say that the racism that he faced during this time period tainted his overall experience, which is to be expected. I mean, if you can't even post an Instagram picture without seeing just blatantly racist comments, I don't even know how else to say it, blatantly racist comments about something that is out of your control. I mean, how is he supposed to enjoy being like the first black lead in a Star Wars film when people are literally calling him, I'm sure, every name under the sun? It's near impossible. The effects didn't stop there. John went on to say the vast amount of racism tainted what should have been a joyous, exciting, monumentous experience for him. And instead, he cites he grew more militant and angry, so much so that he had to go to therapy to begin working through the lasting effects. And just as John said, the industry wasn't ready for him in this role, and maybe he was right. But that shouldn't have mattered, at least not as much as it did. Disney, Lucasfilms, y'all should have stepped up and ensured the industry was ready for him, whether they wanted to be or not. And I don't just mean the little, oh, we don't condone. I'm gonna need y'all to say it really with your full chest, like these people in the comments are. As soon as you casted him, it became your responsibility. Simple as that. We're gonna move on to Halle Bailey. Now, again, this is kind of what set me off to wanting to do this entire thing, me making my thesis about the backlash that Halle Bailey faced. I started to think about what perception and representation did to not only me, but what it could do for children, the positives and the negatives. Now, of course, when Halle was cast, many like myself were excited for the new generation to have an opportunity of representation in the form of a Disney princess. I actually loved The Little Mermaid. Halle Berry even expressed her support by saying, Halle's get it done. Congratulations on this amazing opportunity. But when I began to see the racism online towards Halle, I guess I was more surprised than shocked. Some stating the actress should resemble the animated version with Danish roots. Okay, as if white people invented mermaids? Okay, yeah, Hans Christian Andersen's interpretation of The Little Mermaid was based on the Dutch story, but mermaids definitely also have religious origins in Africa, of the Yoruba religion. I mean, the Orisha are depicted as mermaids. I just sort of like, what are y'all even saying to me right now? If you really think about it, if we really want to get into the nitty-gritty, I mean, in the animated film, Sebastian has a Jamaican accent. Now, are you telling me that crustacean traversed the ocean floor away from Jamaica to wherever they are speaking without any accent of any kind? So it is either that they are in Jamaica and Ariel and Triton are the colonizers, or The Little Mermaid was set in Jamaica. That's all I'm saying. And so, who are you seeing? Who are you seeing in Jamaica? Okay. Oh. And on the heels of this, all of this vitriol and racism that she was receiving, which was really, truly painful to watch because I was so excited for her. I had grown up watching her next big thing. She was in Let It Shine with her sister, and Grownish. So like, I was like fully into their career, their music, everything. I was so excited for Halle. It was such a great opportunity. So to see her having to go through this was actually insane to me. I mean, Beyonce's proteges, one of them becomes the Little Mermaid and she's facing this, like, insane. Not only were they going so far as to create the hashtag #NotMyAriel, they proceeded to make Disney history by making the Little Mermaid movie trailer the most disliked Disney movie trailer in YouTube history, with over 1.5 million dislikes, despite the fact that YouTube had disabled this dislike feature prior to this trailer dropping, meaning that everybody that disliked this video had to download an extension to be able to dislike the video. You wanted to spew racism and bigotry and sexism so much that you took the time to download an extension in the year of our Lord 2019? That's insane. That's insane work to me. That is like next level diabolical. So much effort. This benchmark, if that's what we want to call it, of the most disliked Disney movie trailer of all time was only surpassed by the recent Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs live action portrayed by Rachel Zegler. I believe she is Latina, And of course, that was met with just such a warm embrace by the community. That surpassed The Little Mermaid as the most disliked Disney movie trailer on YouTube. I didn't look into what the number was, but I do know that it holds the spot now. So I mean, wow, what a pattern. And yeah, Disney, I'm sure you're proud of that. And while some noted Hans Christian Andersen published The Little Mermaid in 1837, the people of Africa and of African descent have been telling tales of mermaids for centuries, along with other communities and countries around the world. For example, some of you may not have known that the Starbucks logo consists of a stencil-like outline of a mermaid with two tails. It has been said that the original designer of the Starbucks logo, Terry Heckler, pulled reference and inspiration from several old marine books until finally coming up with a 16th century European Norse woodcut of a two-tailed mermaid described as a twin-tailed mermaid or a siren, and the final design we're all familiar with today. Also dated to the 16th century is the African goddess of the ocean, Yemaya, the eldest daughter of Olodumare, the supreme being or creator of the universe. Yemaya was said to have been brought to the New World by enslaved Africans during the 16th century, spreading to the islands or West Indies, Brazil, and later the United States. The history of mermaids is deeply rooted in spirituality and folklore, primarily of the Yoruba religion. And like many religious practices of a certain time, outside of the dominant norm, the orishas and their symbolism, rituals, folklore had to be kept a secret and eventually synchronized with the Roman Catholic Church, meaning during colonialism, slavery, colonization, it was very dangerous for the people that were taken from their land or occupied within their land to practice their own religions, and so they often had to conform to whatever the group, the Europeans, it was the Europeans, what they wanted you to practice. And so you often found little weavings of native religions. This is an excellent example of the underrepresentation and informed history of cultures, none of which are present in the Starbucks official narrative as of now. There is much research on these topics, especially pertaining to Yemaya, who is believed to be the true mermaid of the Starbucks logo. And this is a major example of lack of cultural representation. Millions of people around the globe are consuming and using or seeing the Starbucks logo without actually knowing the true history behind it. All right, now we're going to get into the next section where I kind of tell you a little bit about me. My parents did their best to expose my brother and I to characters and programs that reflected people and characters that showed me all the opportunities that I could have and that were available to me. And I was blessed enough to grow up seeing myself, for the most part, positively reflected on TV, whether that was from That's So Raven or Happily Ever After, if any of y'all remember that, True Jackson VP, the list goes on. In these roles alone, I saw kids with my personality, my age, my race, my ethnicity. I saw fashion designers, children with parents that were successful doctors and lawyers, people who worked hard, navigated through challenges, following their dreams, enjoying their lives, etc., etc. And when I was younger, I used to love watching The Little Mermaid, the original. Ariel did everything that I like to do. She liked to swim. I loved the water. She loved to sing. I loved to sing. She loved to explore sea life. My favorite animal, if you ask me, y'all know that Beyonce video where she's like, I would be a whale.
Suppose you could be an animal for one day. What would you pick?
An animal? Oh, that's hard. I know what I'd be. A whale.
Why?
I love whales.
I feel that because, honestly, I would be an orca. Yes, I am aware that an orca is more similar to a dolphin than a whale. First of all, the orca is the apex predator of the ocean. I don't know how much, you can't get better than that. All this is to say, Ariel and I were like, this! Okay, we were tight. I absolutely felt connected to Ariel in a way that I don't think that I fully understood back then. I had the VHS tape. I had a cassette tape that would play the soundtrack, and I would play it over and over and over and over and over. I'm not that old. I'm at that weird gap where we had every little bit of technology that ever existed, and then it was completely wiped out by the digital age. So hey, chill out. But after that, I mean, I had the tapes and everything, but after a while, I remember that I just stopped watching. I thought maybe I just outgrew it or I'd gotten bored with the movie. I would later realize that that wasn't the case. Representation is very important. Anything you can imagine, you can do. And if you can't imagine it, we're going to imagine it for you. Like I said, my parents believed that my creativity could stem from my imagination. That if I had the tools, if I had my imagination, I could open the door to endless opportunities. I know it sounds corny, but it's true when you're a kid. Increasing your imagination can lead to an increase of inquisitiveness, which can lead to research and observation, which can lead to recognizing your identity, what you want to do in your life. I know that this is going to be kind of a sidetrack, but like, I mean, that one episode of Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and they were like, this was like a common sitcom episode of like taking the aptitude test to see like what job you were going to do when you grew up. I think Cody got that he was going to be a garbage worker. He had an entire crisis of like, oh my gosh, this isn't what I thought. This isn't what I planned. I just gotta say, I do not understand. That was a really great way to showcase how limiting just the smallest amount of information or like judgment upon who a person could be based off of like some profile that is presented to them, whether it's accurate or not, could shift their entire trajectory of their life or where they think they can or should end up. And then the question became, well, image and identity. So then I concluded, our identities shape who we become as individuals and how we interact with one another. The images we see help shape our identities, both in how we identify ourselves as well as how others may identify us. Representation for underrepresented communities in film and television majorly affect women and people of color. Speaking of people of color, I have to touch on now the third person in our roster. Dominique Thorne, my home girl. First of all, I just gotta say, I gotta jump out of order right now. You ate it up. You ate it up in Ironheart. As a Chicagoan, Lyric Ross and Dominique Thorne devoured. Last in the line of our most recent of how we've seen this play out, Disney's DEI leaves them to die. I just have to say that is the theme here. The one and only Dominique Thorne, a successful actress in her own right, in projects off the bat, the start of her career, If Beale Street Could Talk, Judas and the Black Messiah, Wakanda Forever, and now the lead of her own MCU television series, Ironheart, just to name a few. Remember when I said Disney doesn't protect? Now you've seen the credits. You know the girl is coming with heat. I mean, if her performance in Wakanda Forever was anything to go by, anyone would have been excited to see this project. I know I would. And first of all, let's just also touch on the fact that Disney, I am very confused. I'm going to need an explanation as to why they finished filming, to my knowledge, Ironheart in February of 2023, and we didn't get this project until 2025. So the show was assumedly done by the end of 2023. Why did it take another 2 years to get the show? A full 3 years after people saw her in Wakanda Forever, of course the excitement's gonna die down. It's gonna die down. Her stories in the comics are fairly compelling as well. So why did y'all? So Disney, why do y'all got this girl out here fighting for her life? Look at this post that Dominique posted after the finale of Ironheart season 1. It's so sad that her experience has been tainted. Unable to truly enjoy the excitement of heading her own MCU television series. Let's dive in. I just can't. Just the entire rollout of this show was abysmal. And it was like mind-boggling by how insane they just weren't promoting it. I just don't. It was like getting kicked further and further down the road until they're just like, hey, the show is coming out, y'all. The show's coming out. I titled this section Promotion. Where was it? It's in all caps. The promotion for Ironheart was near non-existent until May 13th. And how do I know this? Well, I filmed a video about how the only promo for this show on the official Marvel Instagram was from 6 days prior, so about like May 6th or May 7th, despite the show coming out in a month's time from then. And I posted it on May 13th. So when I tell you mere hours later, the official Marvel Instagram posted the teaser trailer for the real trailer that was going to drop the next day, when I tell you that I was shocked. Shocked. Now, I'm not saying that they saw my video and decided to post it. I'm just saying the timing was very specific. There was promo for Thunderbolts, there was promo for Fantastic Four, which, mind you, was coming out after Ironheart. So how you gonna sit here and have promotion for Fantastic Four, which is coming out after your big... I'm just getting ahead of myself. Also, I can really hear my Chicago accent when I say fantastic, because I really be thinking I don't have a Chicago accent. I hear it say Fantastic Four. Wow, it's like Wisconsin. Like, it's there. I hear it. You don't have to tell me. I hear it. I wasn't gonna let my fellow Chicagoan Riri Williams be pushed to the sidelines like this. It just wasn't gonna happen on my watch. Absolutely not. On this same note, it was later reported by Screen Rant that Ironheart had broken a 5-year MCU record. Can you guess that it's not good? It was very concerning to them, and it was also very concerning to me. Ironheart had the shortest gap of 42 days between its first trailers and its release date. First trailer, May 16th. Release date, June 24th. Ow! You don't want our girl to win. Also, I'm filming this at night. I can just only imagine what I sound like screaming like this. Like, I'm okay. I promise I'm fine. In all honesty, the show needed all the promotion that it could get. In the average MCU fan's mind at this point, it was just like, Riri, who? Who are you saying to me right now? Not to mention the announcement of RDJ's return as Doctor Doom. That wiped everything else off the slate. Everything was fair game at this point. RDJ is coming back. You're gonna need to fight for your slot. I have 2 photos in my hands. Okay? It's serious right now. Also, with Tom Holland coming back as Spider-Man, it would be near impossible to have Riri have any sort of standout role in that competition, which was why it was so important for Disney to be promoting this show. Actually, that's not really true. Riri Williams as an idea, as a character, is so compelling. But because she's a black girl from the south side of Chicago, she's immediately dismissed. And I've seen some people on Instagram say similar things, like, people are saying, oh, she's a criminal, I can't support her. First of all, I would say that she's morally gray. The word criminal, that's a strong one. I don't think she actually necessarily committed any crimes. Is she an accomplice? Sure. Peter broke into a very secure facility in Homecoming and had to break his way out. Are we really doing the crime thing now? Tony Stark created weapons of mass destruction. Are we really doing this now? Are we doing the morality thing now? All right. She's a freaking genius. She built a fully functioning Iron Man suit with scraps in a cave. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I had to do it. You're telling me you wouldn't want to watch a show or movie about a young up-and-coming hero/vigilante putting their own spin on what it means to be a hero? What it means to be Iron Man? Because I would. Also, after watching the show, I realized I don't think she's necessarily trying to be Iron Man. I think she's just literally like saying, ooh, I like that. I'm going to take that from you, thank you. And then I'm going to apply it in my own way. Also, can you see my Ironheart Funko Soda? Can you all see that? Is that in frame? I can't tell. Anyway, it's up there. It's nice. Going into the next section. I want y'all to know what I'm doing to get this filmed for you. Okay, I have to keep resetting I gotta get this camera thing figured out. I'm so sorry, y'all. Now, again, like I said, I'm not bashing Disney in this. Disney and Marvel are not the only major studios to fall prey to this promotion trap. Many have. But how can you expect a show to perform well if people don't even know it's coming out until like a week before? There were people saying as the show was airing, I'm so excited for the show to come out. Y'all, it's the first 3 episodes streamed last week. You're late, babes. What happened to seeing trailers 4 months out, getting people excited? We used to do that. Instead, what we've been getting for Ironheart now, or I shouldn't say now, when I wrote this, it was happening. So, I mean, the phrasing's gonna be off. But what we were getting for Ironheart was basically a new teaser trailer every single day. Even I was getting burnout from seeing all the Ironheart material, and I was excited. I was watching every video, every reel, liking, reposting, because I knew the metrics needed it, but I was like, oh my gosh, sometimes they put out 2 in a day, and I'm like, If I'm getting burnout, I can only imagine what the dude bros who don't want to see this anyway are feeling. And the comment sections, oh my gosh, don't even get me started on the comment sections. For those of you in the comment sections that were like, who asked for this? We want Moon Knight season 2. I just want you to know that Ironheart getting a series isn't the reason why you don't have Moon Knight season 2. Okay? Disney and Marvel have more than enough money to put on more than one TV series at a time. Just look at Daredevil. Do you think that they held off Ironheart because they were like, you know, we really need to make Daredevil, and so we're really reconsidering even putting this out? No, because the money was already allotted aside for Ironheart. They don't need to. It's not, Marvel is not at the point in their financial struggles in which they have to pick and choose which project to put on. They've got enough for them all. It's just a matter of whether or not they want to pay people. That's the thing that you should be worried about. Example, Jeremy Renner not being paid, even the base of what he was being paid for season 1. I don't know. I mean, I can't speak too much on it. I digress. Now, I can't talk Ironheart's promotion and not talk about RDJ, because Robert Downey Jr. himself posted at the minimum 2 to 3 videos promoting the show, which I really appreciate because I think it was needed. It's sort of passing of the torch, and people are like, how much did they pay him? First of all, I don't care if they paid him or not. And if they paid him, I don't care if it was a large sum of money. Do you know why? Because he still did it because he knew that it was necessary. He's a grown man. He's a big boy. He could have said no. He could have said, I don't care if you pay me. I'm not doing it. I don't care about Ironheart. But that's not what he did because he cares about Ironheart. And I don't know RDJ personally, but what I'm saying is by him doing that, he is showing that he is backing this project, he is backing this character, he is backing this transition. Y'all were so excited to get Tom Holland Spider-Man be Iron Man's protege, and you're not actually excited for his actual protege, in a way. I mean, I know in the MCU right now he's dead, and that's not necessarily what Ironheart is, but I mean, like, you literally have someone just like Miss Marvel, like, you're taking the namesake of a hero. It's only right to kind of have a passing of the torch, which is why you saw Kamala Khan having whatever interaction she had with Carol, no matter how minimal they were important for her character development as a superhero. So even though we're not necessarily getting that in the MCU with Riri interacting with Tony Stark, we're getting it with RDJ interacting with Dominique Thorne, showing to the masses like, hey, I'm supporting this, y'all stop the racist crap in the comments. And I don't know that if he ever said anything like that explicitly. That's not necessarily his job. It would have been nice. But that goes into like one of my other points, which is I appreciate that they had RDJ do that. And I don't know if he said himself that he wanted to do it or if they reached out to him. I'm not sure. But I do think that Disney and Marvel can take a page out of this book. I do think that other MCU actors need to start promoting other MCU projects when needed. Like, for example, Florence Pugh shared her excitement of the Fantastic Four First Steps. Did they need a boost in promotion? Probably not. It's the Fantastic Four. They're gonna be fine. Ironheart, on the other hand, could have maybe used some help. I know that Letitia Wright and Michael B. Jordan were liking and reposting here and there, but man, some support from some of the other MCU actors like a Tom Holland, like a Zendaya, a Haley Steinfeld shout out could have really helped because, I mean, ultimately you're all part of the same family. I know you're actors. It's not really your job. You don't really know these people. But I mean, when you're part of a huge franchise like this, you helping this other project is going to ultimately, in the end, help you. I mean, I don't see why the other actors, I know that y'all be seeing the racism in the comments. Miss Tessa Thompson, Brie Larson. I mean, this only leads me to think about when Chadwick Boseman was one of the only Avengers to show up, if not the only Avenger, with a solo film at that time that attended in support of Marvel's first woman-led MCU superhero film. I would think this was due to the fact that he understood the immense pressure, prejudice, and difficulty that came with being the first Black-led MCU superhero film or project, a success, earning $1.3 billion in the box office after everybody said that it wouldn't be done and that nobody wants to see a Black-led film. Captain Marvel would go on to do the same thing, making $1.1 billion in the box office, but it wasn't without a fight. Disney, Marvel, y'all gotta do better. You promoted the heck out of Thunderbolts, Deadpool and Wolverine, Fantastic Four. You didn't give Ironheart the same grace and care as you did as the other projects. Let's hope to God it doesn't show. Did it show? As of Friday, June 27th, Ironheart was the highest streamed show on Disney+. As of July 2nd, 2025, Ironheart is the number 3 highest ranking Phase 5 MCU show on Rotten Tomatoes. But this was no easy feat, as I just discussed. Ironheart debuted with the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score since Secret Invasion, which, if we're talking about a show no one asked for, this would be it. Who wanted Secret Invasion? I didn't. Ask me what I would have rather seen than Secret Invasion. I would have rather seen Ironheart come out on schedule. I would have rather seen a show about Monica Rambeau. Are you serious? Ironheart debuted with 68% critic score and a 55% audience score that has since climbed to 70% and 68% respectively, and is still climbing. Obviously, these numbers are going to be changing, so take this with a grain of salt. There was another report saying Ironheart debuted with a 79% critic score and a 39% audience score. I believe this was likely due to Rotten Tomatoes' process of deleting the negative reviews as they were affecting the score, and not because they wanted to doctor any numbers. No, it was because people were review bombing. And you may be asking what that is. The show hadn't premiered yet. People were so pissed at the idea of having a black female-led superhero show, somebody daring to maybe come for the legacy of Iron Man, that they were like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go on Rotten Tomatoes and tank the score so nobody wants to watch this. And Rotten Tomatoes said, not on my watch. I just don't understand how you're going to rate the show before you've seen it, Jeff. How you going to do that? And another thing, Disney, Marvel, the Black delegation should not have had to tell you to promote Ironheart during Sinner's run. With Ryan Coogler's association with both of these projects, we should not have had to tell you that the cross-promotion was right there, wrapped in a bow for you. The opportunity fell in your lap, bro. You dropped the ball like this, bro? How embarrassing for you. Okay, so next up is merchandise. I'm not even gonna front. I'm gonna stay in my little bailiwick. I'm gonna stay where I know. I'm gonna mind my little black business. I'm gonna talk mostly about Funko Pops because that is the most, like, the collectibles that I get are mostly, Funko Pops and other little knickknacks here and there. So far, most of the Disney Plus MCU shows have gotten Funko Pop lines and releases. And my question was, will Ironheart get one? And for the longest time, I did not have an answer. Okay, so at the time of me writing it, we did not have an official announcement of Ironheart Pops, but we did have an announcement of the Fantastic Four wave of Funko Pops for the movie. So, as I said before, how are we getting promotion and merchandise for a film that is not coming out until after Ironheart? I'm not saying that you couldn't have put it out that early, but I'm saying, can we also just know what's going on with the current projects that are going on? About a week after the first episode of Ironheart aired, we did finally get official confirmation from Funko that they were going to have 2 Funko Pops released for that line, both being Riri Williams in her suits. So that was nice, but I would have liked a Natalie. I can't even front with you. Again, that was after the show had already premiered. Thunderbolts had their time. WandaVision, Loki, Agatha All Along, Moon Knight, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, Secret Invasion. Come on, if there was any show that none of us asked for. Daredevil, I believe, still counts as an MCU television show. Echo. So where is the Ironheart merch, though? I know that I was talking about Funko Pops, and now that we have them, okay, great. I have pre-ordered them, amazing. But where's the merch? I haven't seen a new hoodie, a new shirt. I ain't seen no Hot Toys. I haven't seen a wallet, a hat, Nathan. I ain't seen Nathan. The same shirts that I see on Box Lunch and Hot Topic have been there since Wakanda Forever. And I wish I was exaggerating. I don't even buy Hot Toys. I haven't heard of it. I haven't heard of an Ironheart Hot Toys coming out. I know that we got some Scarlet Witch Hot Toys. I know that we got some Captain America ones, Sam Wilson. I know that we got some Loki and Deadpool ones. So I'm just sort of like, are we doing this or not? The most merch that I've seen for Ironheart has been, actually, I'm not wearing it right now, but I have an Ironheart necklace that I got from Rock Love Jewelry. Ironically enough, a couple of months before Ironheart premiered, they actually took it off their website for good after having had it on there since at least 2022 because it was released in conjunction with Wakanda Forever. I wonder if this is Marvel telling them to take it down because it's not necessarily in line with her suit anymore, the design that they had, or if it's just really bad timing. I don't know. I feel like you would at least want to keep it up until after the show premiered. Even if you wanted to take it down July 1st, at least you're getting like the hype and the wave of people wanting to watch the show. I will say that I did see Topps had like these limited edition cards. I didn't end up getting one, but they look pretty cool. I think they're sold out now though at the time of this video, so sorry if you're hearing about this and wanting to get one and they're no longer available. Disney, I just want to say, like, Disney, Marvel, you're telling me you want me to get behind this show as a viewer, as a customer, but you're not showing me. You're not pressuring me as a consumer, as a viewer, to spend absurd amount of money on merchandise relating to this IP. Like you would have with any other MCU series. It's confusing to me. You're not promoting any product to me. You're not telling me that you support this project and you want me to buy all this useless merch that you usually want me to buy. So I'm thinking that you're not necessarily as invested in this show, and so if you're not, why should I be? According to my research, Disney themselves pioneered the idea of having merchandise for a project before the project releases to create hype as well as to educate audiences on the IP and the story. This innovative concept actually stemmed from Herman K. Kamen, a marketing, advertising, and merchandise executive while working on Snow White. Kamen joined the company in 1932 after seeing vendors selling unlicensed and often nightmare-inducing iterations of Mickey Mouse. Kamen understood that this lack of quality control in product could reflect poorly on the Disney brand, becoming responsible for the quality and licensing control that Disney still uses to this day. That's why you don't see like random Mickey Mouse plushies and pairings. Back to the movie merch, Kamen came to this realization after a child saw his Snow White scale model prototype and wanted to play with it. And all of this was before the film released. So him seeing this child become enamored with like this figure, and she doesn't even know what this toy is supposed to be, but she likes it. So seeing this as a money-making opportunity, Kamen brought this idea to the attention of the Disney brothers, who eventually agreed. Toys and merchandise alike releasing for an entire year before the film's release. So this begs the question of, as pioneers of this marketing and merchandising model, how Disney would drop the ball. Inside Out and Elio Funko Pops released before their respective films, with the Inside Out Funko Pops selling out before or very close to the film's release, and continuously shooting up in value for months after the film's release. The only MCU Ironheart merch I've ever really been able to find were some screen-printed t-shirts from Box Lunch, 2 Funko Pops, a Funko Soda, some Legends figures, a Rock Love necklace. Also, I found a picture of a Lego figure, but I can't find the set that she was a part of, so I don't know if this is like a custom solo figure. Either way, I don't know if it's MCU Riri because she has an afro and we ain't seen our MCU Riri with an afro. And again, I wrote this before the finale, and so now I have to take this back because in the literal final minutes of the finale, we see Riri with an afro. So I guess you win. Anywho, y'all, we are nearing the end of this video now. I'm sure I'm gonna watch this back and be like, I missed so much, but really, honestly, I just wanted to kind of get the gist across, and usually, if you know me, you know that I hate that, which is why I'm such a procrastinator, not because I don't do the work, but because I want it to be perfect every time that I present it. But I realize that sometimes the information is important enough that you just gotta get it out. Disney, Marvel, Lucasfilms, right now, I'd say I just need you to do better than you did before. Treat all of your shows and movies equally. Promote them in a timely manner. Protect the actors. They shouldn't have to fend for themselves. I challenge you to encourage their peers, much like you did with RDJ, to promote their shows, their films, the premieres, show up and show support. I understand that you cannot control the reactions of your fan base, but you can absolutely mitigate the damage done by them. You can show that you do not condone the actions that they are perpetrating. You can show that you stand in support of your actors more than just a post on social media. Kevin Feige, Bob Iger, I'm gonna need y'all to step it up. These franchises, these actors make you money. The black dollar is the most powerful dollar. You are currently treating us as an afterthought. We matter. We're here. We deserve more. We haven't even received, as far as I'm concerned, the bare minimum So far, we have not received what was promised to us. So yeah, Disney's DEI woke agenda doesn't exist. So start it. Thank you for watching this video. If you made it this far, I hope you enjoyed it. I guess let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't know if I'm ready for that, but I posted the video, so I guess I'm gonna have to be ready for that. I'm gonna end the video right here. If you wanna watch any other videos that I've done, here are some right here. I should be posting similar videos to this sometime. I probably will take more time to analyze. I probably actually will do a full analysis of The Princess and the Frog on its own. Maybe do a full analysis of the Cheetah Girls as well, because that's my thing. But anyway, I guess I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for stopping by. Bye.